Hey, Prime members, you can listen to Watch What Crappens ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the app today.
Wondery's new podcast, This Job is History, is hosted by Chris Parnell from Saturday Night Live and Rick and Morty. Steeped in factual history, this brilliantly funny podcast delves into quirky and absurd jobs from the past. Clock in and listen to This Job is History on Amazon Music or wherever you get your podcasts.
Watch what crappens, watch what crappens. Who cares what happens when there's so much that crappens? Crappens, crappens, crappens. Watch what crappens, watch what crappens. Who cares what happens when there's so much that crappens? Watch what crappens, watch what crappens. Who cares what happens when there's so much that crappens?
Hello and welcome to Watch What Crappens, a podcast about all that crap on Bravo that we just love to talk about. I'm Ben Mandelker. Joining me today is the one, the only, the hilarious and wonderful and special Mr. Ronnie Karam. Hi, Ronnie. How are you?
Aren't you sweet little Pete?
Oh, thank you. How are you doing today?
Good. I got this new light thing, and it's like hanging on by a magnet, and it keeps falling. So, if it does that, sorry, everybody. I'm just trying new things over here, okay? I'm just trying new microphone setups, new lighting setups. Bueller's trying new poses in the camera, as you can see back there, just all spread out on the couch.
He's getting ready for his OnlyFans.
It's good. It's a Crappens on Demand day, so I get to see you, and we get to travel tomorrow, so I'm very excited. I've got ants in my pants. I've been doing laundry. I've been sweeping random things. Do you do that before you leave town? Just start like,
no,
I want this to be clean when I come back. I'm going to sweep this hallway.
I do sometimes do that. I do because it's nice to come back to like a clean apartment. But a lot of times I more aspire to do those things than actually do them. But it also helps that Dom is a tidy person, so he's usually sort of just kind of doing it while I'm out of town. So I'm excited today. Today's an amazing day. I mean, I became friends with Jimmy Butler, NBA superstar. I feel amazing about that. I mean, he doesn't know it. I had a dream that we were friends, and it was one of those dreams where now I feel like we're friends. So it's like a great day. Like I'm
had
friends
a
with
dream.
a basketball
He got to
player.
say hi to a famous person, and all is well with the world.
No, I had a dream that Jimmy Butler was my next door neighbor, and I was like, he's so cool. And then he like waved at me, and I was like, oh my god, like I'm like friends with Jimmy Butler. Oh my god,
you're so funny.
So I'm like just gonna coast. I'm basically Heather. I am Heather on Girls Trip, just like eyes wide open. Just so happy to be. I was just so happy to be there in my dream. I was like, thanks for having me, dream.
That's so cute. Well, it's funny because yesterday, I'm really in a good mood today because yesterday we were talking about Summer House, and I just got infuriated in the middle of that recap and was like, fuck this show, fuck these people. My time is worth more than, like, I had some weird middle-aged thing where I was like, I could be doing something with my life instead of talking about Summer House. Like, what the hell else am I going to do? A. And B, it was like one or two bad episodes, okay? They deserve a bad season. Anyway, I got so grumpy, and then after I was so mad at myself for being so grumpy. And I was like, Ronnie, you're such a lucky person, and you get to talk about this stuff. How dare you have the gall to start screaming about your job? And then enter Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip, episodes 2 and 3, and everything was restored. Like, I believe in Jesus again. I was like, you know what? I'm back to Christianity. The show was so good.
Yeah, episode 3 was particularly funny. That was actually the one that really restored me. Today we're talking episode 2. Before we dive into that, as Ronnie mentioned, this is Crappens on Demand, so go to patreon.com/watchforcrappens to be able to watch us. Very exciting. Also, you can go to watchforcrappens.com because we are hitting the road. We're flying up to Seattle, Washington, because we're going to be recapping Real Housewives of New Jersey in Seattle at the Neptune Theater. It's going to be wonderful. We haven't been to Seattle since before the pandemic, and there's going to be lots of people, so we're excited for that. And then on Friday, we go back down to San Francisco to talk Vanderpump Rules and perhaps address the most controversial controversy of our time. Should Katie keep a hotel room? I mean, this has really been lighting up the internet. I mean, this is what Bravo's all about. So we're going to be going to both those cities with those shows this week. In April, we're going to Toronto. We're going to Philadelphia. In May, we're going to New York and DC. And then in June, we have a billion shows before we close it all out at Foxwoods. So that is the schedule for right now. Go to Watch What Crappens. These are going to be big shows with lots of people. I don't think you're going to want to miss out. I think they're going to be like really special, all of them. So looking forward to it. And I guess, should we just get on with Crappens on Demand? I have to. Here's my warning for this. We're doing Girls Trip episode 2. I watched this many days ago, and I literally only remember bits and pieces of it. And so I will be refreshing my brain as I go through my notes today. And so it's gonna be a wild ride for me to remember what the hell we're talking about.
Oh, okay. Well, we write notes, so that'll help too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is easy to get confused in girls' trip notes because, like Summer House, there's a lot of like, "Hi, what are you doing?" Nothing. And then they're just walking down the hallway, and we write extensive notes thinking, "Oh, a big fight's going to happen."
Yeah.
Or someone's going to get offended, and then nothing can happen for 20 minutes, and we'll spend 3 hours on that, and then by the end of it, we're tired, and then it's like time for the main fight, and I'm like, I need a nap, so bye.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Yeah. Episode 3 felt like every second of episode 3 was worth it. There was stuff happening at every second. I just remember feeling with episode 2, I was like, wow, this is pretty intense. But I don't know, maybe revisiting it, I'm going to be more excited. But I definitely liked the way it started, which was Leah lying on a pool float in the infinity pool, and then she sort of like forgetting that the infinity pool is just an illusion because it starts to drift towards the edge, and she like freaks out and like dives off of her float before she tumbles off down a cliff.
Well, yeah, she almost went over the infinity edge, which, I mean, listen, it's only 2 episodes in, and I'm already remembering that was my dream for Leah. Just to go on a vacation, get on a floaty, and just go off an infinity edge, and that would be the end. No more Leah's on guest starring. What is Leah doing on this show? What is she doing here? But here she is, and guess what? Nature saved her. Because if I was God, I would have blown just a little bit harder.
Yeah,
okay.
Just a little gust. I don't know. I think Leah has been a great awful contribution to this cast. In the way that we knew she would be. She's like petulant. She's bratty, and she's just like stubborn and in her own head. And that's how it works on this kind of show.
Right. So Marisol is on the phone with Steve. She's like, "Hi, Steve. What's going on over there?" And he's like, "O-K-L-A-H. All right, Steve, that's enough. All right, you can go back to the show tunes when we're off the phone, Steve." I've got thumping music in the background for no reason because they're playing like, It's a Marisol scene. Do we really need this, Trix? Do we need this, Trixie Bodical? Hi, Steve. It's Marisol.
There's also like an enormous centipede on their floor, and Alexia is freaking out. Marisol's like trying to talk to Steve, and you just hear Alexia in the background like,
It's like, por favor, Alexia, I'm trying to talk to Steve. All right.
I mean, it was a big, scary centipede. And Alexia was having like this whole big reaction, and Marisol's like, hold on. Steve's about to tell him about why the farmer and the cowman can't be friends.
Listen, Steve's about to wash that man right out of his hair. Can you take care of this? And Alexia's like, can you call Pepsi? Please call Pepsi. She's like, I'm not calling Pepsi. All right, I'm talking to Steve. Dios mío, babe, I gotta go. She won't let me be. I gotta go take care of Alexia.
And then Portia's ordering an omelet from Pepsi. See, this is the exact sort of thing. Like, why did I write this down? Portia going cheese, important. Ham or bacon, jalapeno peppers, onions, tomatoes. Nothing really gives me more anxiety than watching someone ordering a bespoke omelet and a waiter not writing it down. Oh, that's my least favorite thing.
You know what my least favorite thing is? Being a waiter and taking a goddamn omelet order. They need to come up with here's your breakfast, scrambled eggs and a bagel, okay? You don't go to each individual person room to room asking what they want. Because listen, this is what people do when they order omelets. They can't just say, I like cheese and like some sausage or something. They have to be like, cheese, ham, bacon. Bacon's good. Jalapeno, onions, Whataburger. Put some Whataburger on there. Ooh, French fries. Sundays. Don't give people just endless options.
I know. I actually really don't understand people who put in endless amounts of things into their omelets. At that point, it's just a power play. It's like, oh, I have the ability to do this, so I will.
That's what I'm saying.
But I only need like 1 or 2 items in there. Like put maybe some ham and cheese. Or maybe
I
a
had
third.
a cheese omelet last week somewhere. I don't remember where I was. And I thought, oh, I'm being so healthy. Look at me just getting protein because, I'm trying to drop some lbs. And you should have seen this omelet, okay? It was just the egg folded over like 2 inches of cheese. It was like that much cheese. And I still ate it. And I was like, God bless you, Dr. Atkins up in heaven. I still ate it. But yeah, this omelet order, it's a privileged omelet order.
Yeah,
just say that.
It's too much. And Pepsi's like, oh, jalapeno peppers or jalapeno Pepsi. And she's like, oh, Pepsi, no, not you in my omelet.
Why do you keep trying to get ate up, Pepsi? And he's like, and we announced this for anyone who missed the first recap. Murky Waters getting into Pepsi accents, okay? We don't want to like totally.
Yeah.
We understand that we're constantly kind of on the line anyway, but we're gonna avoid this one. So we're just leaning more into like a Irish brogue. I mean, I guess we could change it up week to week.
An Irish brogue that's also in and of itself very cartoony and not what Irish people really sound like. But yeah, there's like a storied and sordid history of white people doing Asian accents. That's not something that we necessarily want to contribute to.
And we have contributed to it before anybody calls us out on being hypocrites. I know. I get it. We've been doing this. This is our 11th year doing this. I used to do she, Beverly Hills. I used to do that guy.
Yep.
Or Sonia's manicurist. And guess what? No one really ever said that's offensive. But then when people started saying you can't do that, then you stop doing it, okay? It's called growth.
Yeah, it's called like respecting. It's like being courteous. It's like when someone gets married and you say, oh, this is my friend Joni Roshbaum. Like, no, my name is Joni Smith now. That's all, it's like, oh, okay. I see.
We'll go with it.
It. Sounds good.
Yeah.
We'll make that adjustment.
So that's our adjustment.
Joni Rothbaum.
Like that was a journey, actually. But I was with you. I was like, poor Joni.
She's so
Pepsi's
proud she got married to a Smith.
Well, I'll tell you what I believe in. Joni Rothbaum Smith. Why don't we just hyphenate? There's a Pepsi idea.
Why can't you hyphenate anymore?
You know what Pepsi loves to do? Hyphenate things. Pepsi Cola. There's one for you.
Pepsi Rothbaum. That was my original name. So
he's like, I'll try my best to let the girls have their best experience. Mushrooms on your omelet it is. I was like, all right, just dump 10 of those and you'll do fine. So then we go to Marisol and Heather at breakfast, and Heather's like, day 2, elephant sanctuary. Have you ever touched an elephant before? I wonder how many followers those elephants have. I mean, they're pretty famous now. Elephants have huge followings now. It's crazy.
Yeah, elephants are like there's a documentary on Apple called like The Elephant King. Like, I want to be in that documentary, get some followers off them. Am I right? You know what I'm saying?
And Pepsi's like, well, we want everybody to keep this memory close. And Marisol's like, well, I haven't actually seen an elephant. I have seen things that are elephant-esque.
Oh, well, I don't get it. It's like, okay. So, and Heather's like, with 2 hands, I presume. So then Leah's doing yoga, and they're going to be going to an elephant sanctuary, as you mentioned. That's Leah's activity. And she tells us, as housewives, a lot of our excursions are dinners and lunches and fighting. And yesterday was a big hot mess, but the elephants have healing powers. So hopefully their calmness rubs off on the women. I'm like, yes, I'm sure the elephants totally chill. And they're nothing about
elephants.
The Real Housewives will make the elephants go crazy and want to stampede you and blot you into little puddles of human goo. Little filler.
It'll be like the elephant gets its own like little mini trampoline for its office to exercise in, just bouncing up and down on fillers.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't listen. Elephants are so pretty in like calendars, and I'm sure in real life as well, or home like art from Home Goods. Love an elephant Home Goods painting. But yeah, you don't want to piss off an elephant, okay? There was a story a few months ago of that elephant who some lady in the town, like, spanked it or did something, or like they killed its baby or something, and that elephant came back for revenge, stomped the whole town, went to that lady's house, dragged her ass out, and stomped her dead. So I wouldn't compare elephants to Real Housewives. Real elephants will win. Okay?
Elephants are not chill. That's my understanding.
Elephants are not chill.
Elephants and hippos, both very unchill animals, and I don't think they have healing powers. I think they are sweet and lovely, and I love an elephant.
Yeah, I love
an
elephant.
But they don't. I think they are more like get out of my face powers, you know. And I always remember there was an episode of Road Rules where there was the Semester at Sea season, and they were, I think, in India, and they went to some activity where the elephants, they did some sort of elephant painting thing where they gave elephants little brushes and the elephants would actually paint. And one girl refused to do it because she felt like it was really mean to the elephants, which it probably was. And I just remember Buena Murray, the production company, they went to commercial and they zoomed in on an elephant eye crying. And I was like, okay, well, the elephant probably doesn't like this, but the elephant's not crying because the elephant knows it could just kill all of you right now. The elephant's like, fine, I'll fucking paint something for these stupid people.
Oh, God.
I always remember that.
Yeah, well, how can you forget an elephant tear? You know? But
Tears
it's
the
like
elephant
it's
forced
like
to
on
paint.
Real Housewives of Potomac, you can always close up on Michael Darby's face and be like, "Look at him! Look how depressed he is. He's crying." But he's just a watery-eyed dog. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, say Beethoven is the most depressed dog on movie screens? No,
Yes.
it's a watery-eyed dog. You know,
Hate Beethoven. So Marisol,
you do hate Beethoven.
that dog was out of control.
It's not a very well-behaved dog.
It's a terrible dog. That's like literally a terrible dog. It's a malicious dog. So Marisol, she's still having stomach issues. And she says that starting the day with a screwdriver is, not starting the day with a screwdriver is helping her. Wow, I can't believe with your stomach issues that by not drinking something that's acidic and alcoholic that it's helping.
Yeah. And Alexia is as shocked as me. She's like, I thought you were going to say it's not helping. And she's like, well, listen, I don't drink a lot, but I do drink for many hours, everybody. I'm a happy drunk, okay? And Alexia's like, oh, yes, you are. You're a very happy drunk. She goes, well, when people tell you have a problem, then you have to stop. But no one tells me I have a problem. To your face. Literally everybody says it behind your back, okay? It's very hard to say it to someone's face. That's why they have a whole show called Intervention, where you all link up together. You have to plan a whole fucking meeting about it, okay? No one just casually says you're an alcoholic and walks off.
Well, I thought that was about making up new gadgets and gadgets. Oh, well, that's invention. That's something else. But I think the reason why no one is confronting Marisol is because I also feel like no one really believes she's drinking as much as she says she is. Like, there's definitely a feeling. I always get this feeling like she's really not drinking that much. She has that big opaque cup. It's opaque. You can't see what's in it. And she's always just carrying it around and advertising how much she's drinking when we all know like a real drunk doesn't have to even advertise it. You just see them going back for more and more and more and getting wasted. And she never really seems to get wasted. She just sort of
It's a character. That's what's annoying about it. It's an affected character choice, and it's a fail. It's like, I'm Patsy from Absolutely Fabulous. Like, no, you're not. You're just some lady who needs a personality, you know? Don't try and use Tito's like that. I would like some respect for Tito's.
Yeah. So Leah goes to the little spirit house and lights some incense. And she's like, God, if you're there, it's me, not Margaret. And you can hear me. Like, please help me get a good night's sleep tonight. Because, like, I'm, like, PMSing. And I'm just, like, afraid I'm going to, like, freak out on someone. Because, like, I'm in that kind of mood. Thanks, God.
Yeah. So then she tells us, I have PMDD, okay? Premenstrual dysphoric disorder. I only have one good week out of the whole month. 1 week I'm bleeding, and then 10 days I'm PMSing. So I was like, wow, really glad they called you in. This is great. This is great. And who's the editor who's like, you know what? Definitely keep all of this. Definitely keep this. This is why people sign up for Peacock.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Leah goes, like, she goes to breakfast. She tells everyone she's PMSing, but then she's, like, doing child's pose. And then Giselle's doing child's pose also. I mean, we're basically, like, 10 minutes into the show, and this is where we're at. And Heather's like, I don't want to piss off anybody today. I mean, yesterday knocked me on my ass. Me, the new kid with all the alphas. But I'm going to turn this ship around and I'm going to win back these women if it's the last thing I do. Hey, can I get someone's autograph? I brought a whole binder.
Yeah, so Candace comes in singing, of course. She's like, and Leah's loving her jelly platforms. And Candace says she's already eaten because Pepsi brought food to her room, blah, blah, blah. Small talk, small talk. But the point is, tonight is Candace's night. And it's a drag show, but in Thailand, most of them call themselves ladyboys. And then there's a pause on her face while it pops up on screen. Ladyboy definition. Noun. Most of Thai culture consider ladyboys to be a third gender. So I guess they're like, it's problematic to describe them as drag queens, but we'll just correct her in the good old-fashioned editing way.
Right.
With a dictionary entry.
Yeah, they're like, just so everyone knows, or also, just in case anyone gets up, feels like ladyboy is like actually a derogatory term. They're like, no, it's a thing. It's a thing.
Yeah, don't get mad at us. It's
don't get mad at
Bravo's
Peacock.
like, don't get mad at us, okay? We've already made Watch What Crappens change their Pepsi accents, okay?
Bravo's like on
Boys,
edge because last time they went to Thailand, things did not work out so well. Leanne Locken.
Thailand ruins Bravo stars. Yeah, that's true. So let's see what happens this time around.
Commercials. Here comes one right now.
It's called me time for a reason, so working out should work on your time.
And you know how I love to work out is with Peloton. I'm a big Peloton person. I literally just broke a personal record 2 days ago. I'm so proud of myself. And the Peloton tread is so cool because it's pretty compact, even though it's like full size. And you get like a really great running or walking workout on it.
Work out when it works for you. Peloton works into your day, not the other way around. You don't have to clear your schedule to work out. And whether you have 20 minutes to squeeze in a scenic hike or just 10 minutes for a power walk, Peloton makes it easy to find the me time that you're craving.
It's so true. It's more than just a bike. It is that treadmill also. It's so fun, okay? It's not another boring stroll on a treadmill.
There are classes for every level. You could try a short scenic hike, a beginner boot camp, or even a power walk to country pop.
No matter where you're starting from, Peloton's expert instructors are there to guide you with contagious energy and supportive instruction to really take the guesswork out of working out.
Try Peloton Tread risk-free with the 30-day home trial. New members only, not available in remote locations. See additional terms at onepeloton.com/home-trial.
In the aftermath of a shocking crime, people always ask why. Why would someone do something like that? What could possibly push them to commit such a horrible act? Was it money? Revenge? What makes people like that tick? I'm Candace DeLong, host of the podcast Killer Psyche, where I explain the thoughts, motivation, and behaviors of the most violent figures in history. You may think you know these cases, but trust me, you do not. Using my decades of experience as an FBI agent and criminal profiler, I dig deeper into the twisted psychology of why. Many of the cases covered on Killer Psyche I actually worked on, like the serial killer Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber, and Dennis Rader, also known as BTK. Follow Killer Psyche wherever you get your podcast. You can listen ad-free on the Amazon Music or Wondery app.
But yeah, ladyboys, anybody who's familiar, they're always ladyboys. Like that's how they are day and night, which gotta love it. And they're fabulous too. So Candace is like, yeah, dinner and a ladyboy show. And if you have something that's, what are you laughing? Did I say something terrible?
I just think it's such a funny thing. I'm ladyboy day and night. It sounds like a commercial for like a long-lasting deodorant.
Yeah, it's like on Project Runway when they say day to night wear. They're like, you have to wear it in the daytime, but then also wear it in the nighttime.
I know what you meant. You didn't say anything problematic. I just thought it was a funny way to describe it.
Well, yeah, because drag people think, oh, you get in the day, you're like a guy, and then at night you dress up and you're like, you have big wigs and stuff. But no, ladyboys are just ladyboys all the time.
Yeah. So either way, Whitney's like, I have high expectations for this Lady Bo show. Lady Bo, Ladybugs. I love ladybugs. I can't wait to see them. And Thailand is known for them. I wish I brought my stripper pole. I have a stripper pole in my basement, by the way.
So, Alexia and Marisol come in, and Marisol's still like, I'm not feeling good. My belly is huge and I don't feel good, but maybe if I drink more, I won't feel it because my belly is numb from the booze. So I'm going to have some. Anybody want a khaki?
Yeah, everyone's like, okay. So then Portia comes in, and then Candace says that when everything happened with season 5 of Potomac, she wasn't shocked that Portia was on Monique's side. And we see a flash to Bravo chat room, and Portia's like, the whole reason why Candace was suing Monique was to pay for her mom's house. So basically, there's clearly some simmering tension between Portia and Candace over this.
And each one of them is like, I don't know why she doesn't like me.
I know.
Each one of them is saying that about each other. So Portia's like, yeah, I'm just going to let her have a moment with that one. I'll let her have that one. And so she's like, hello, Candace. And Candace is like, okay, girl, good morning. Good morning. So now they all get on vans to do this elephant thing. And Candace is looking for alcohol. She's like, where's the alcohol? Marisol's like, oh, wait, what? What are you talking about? Where is it?
Oh, well, Pepsi came with a cock. Okay, that's what he called a roadie. He brought a roadie, And Leah's like, what's a roadie? And Lex is like, oh, it's like a drink for the road. Like, hello, like, shouldn't you be the one that knows that more than I do? Am I right? You know what I'm saying?
And then we get to see my favorite thing, which is a Real Housewife drinking. So then we see Alexia drinking her roadie, and her lips are like you got to kind of anchor your lip on the cup, and it's like going how hard down the cup.
I know. She's like, I think there are like 2 types of bottle drinkers. They're the ones who, when they drink from a bottle, their lips go around the entire rim. Like, okay, Ronnie, you demonstrate. Do a profile where lips go all the way around like that. There are people who do drink like that, lips all the way around. You're inserting it quite deep, but
well, you have
the
to
point
pretend
remains.
I have big fillered lips.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But then for the way I do it is I have bottom lip on the bottom, but top lip actually sort of goes inside.
Yeah, that's how that's the standard way.
That's that's right. Because otherwise, if you put your lips all the way around the bottle, you're just making a big mess, right? And you also have
asking to hit a speed bump and chip a tooth.
There you go. There's that too, and you have less control. Yeah, but I don't understand people who do the wraparound. I don't know how they can do that.
Well, we don't have fillers. The reason they do that is because you can't feel things with fillers that big in your lips. So that's why I'm going to invent fillers that attach to nerve endings, or they have something that can guide you, because a lot of times it's why Diana from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills has the licking thing. I think she's just making sure her lips are still there. It's that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So now listen, I know that I'm like Kyle Richards, and then I pass judgment on shit, and then I immediately get it done to myself. Like, I always made fun of Kyle's Botox eye, like it's always like one eye's kind of blinking while the other one's not. And now I get Botox. So just this is basically me saying, just wait, because I'm going to come one day with La Kent fillers. Okay.
So Heather, now they're driving through they're just like driving around, and then because they're driving through like the Kamala district, and so they're like, woo, just like our vice president. And then they're asking what Kamala.
Heather's like, everybody here, can we just have a moment for Kamala? Okay,
Did I say it wrong? I said it wrong.
Let's take a moment.
Kamala. I hate being that person who always says her name wrong, but I am, and it's like the worst thing in the world.
Well, I didn't hear it pronounced for a long time because I read my news. I don't watch it because I get so stressed out. So I thought it was Kamala for a long time.
It's Kamala Harris.
But, then I heard it was Kamala.
Yeah, because Kamala Harris sounds totally wrong when I say it like that. But in a vacuum of reading notes on this show, I'm like, come on. I was like, pressure's on. Everyone's listening. Everyone's watching. I can't go back. I have to make a choice on how to say this.
Well, we don't know if it's pronounced the same way in Thailand. You know, maybe it's Kamala in Thailand. We don't know.
There we go.
So Portia's like, yeah, what is she mixed with again? And Heather says she's Indian and black. And then Portia tells them that she's actually Nigerian, and she knows because she did her DNA. And she's like, yeah, you know, that's where my butt came from. I mean, I wish I still had my little titties because I would look more like my people with my big butt. My little Really? Because my ass comes straight from Whataburger. So I wish that I had a 23 in me to just tell me it's okay, you know?
Yeah, well, 23andMe is how Heather and me figured out that we're related. Oh, yeah. Her great-grandfather and my great-grandfather were brother and sister, and they had literally millions of followers. I'm just like here with my hands out trying to get a few of them, you know?
They didn't have Instagram back then, so it was actually people following wagons with tarp on top. But still, lots of followers.
That's why they had multiple wives, because as soon as you became like a wife, you were like an instant grandma. You were the original Instagram.
You'd become a grandma within like a year, you know. Instagrams. So they used to call it Insta Mama, you know, but we've updated it.
Instant graham crackers. That's our biggest sin.
So then we go to Leah and Alexia chatting on the bus, and Leah's like, so, Alexia, I was watching like Real Housewives of Miami, and you're like more open than like the other ladies, and that's what I noticed about you. Like, you're open. She goes, oh yeah. Yeah, well, you know, I'm like the only one on the show who's open like that, you know, because like Marisol, she's the funny one, and I'm the one with the spotlight on me because I was born a star. So there you go.
Marisol's the funny one, and I'm the one that people actually care about. Okay, like I'm the one that's like open, who like cares about things, who has like things going on in their lives. That's all, you know. And so, yeah, she said that, and then they're talking about like how Hernan has like gay lover. At that whole thing, and Alexis saying how like she would not have been able to meet the lover if it were a woman, but because it was a guy, it was like easier for her to do that, and she thinks that Hernan was bisexual, not full blown gay.
Yeah, she's like, because he wanted me. Even when we were separated, I was like, I'm not going to go from being your wife to being your lover. And Leah's like, did he die from the sex act? Like, what? I mean, that's like some incredible anal, just saying. And she's like, no. I asked a lover, and he was like, no. And Adriana said that was inappropriate, which she's always saying inappropriate things like that. So
I feel like Adriana, like, used my pain and like my sadness to secure a place in the show because like she's only a friend of, you know what I'm saying? Like, what about your friend Marisol? She's also only a friend of, and she's just got like she has a trunk of props. Like that's what she's doing.
Yeah. At least Marisol brings, you know, some cups with bedazzle.
Marisol comes in with like an accordion and like a drum on her back. Like, boom, 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 boom.
Why do you have traffic cone on your head? Man, because it's hilarious. I'm a street.
I'm a street. Whatever it takes to be on Peacock.
So then we see the clip. We see Alexia saying basically what she said on the show, which was, if that's the way he died, then that's a beautiful way to die. Having sex with someone you love. You know, I want to die like that. And so Marisol's like, oh my God, we're here. I'm going to touch an elephant.
Yeah, elephant time. So Portia's like, oh yeah, elephants can smell periods. It's like, oh, is that true? And she's like, yeah, Leah's the one who needs to get a little bit like let the elephant get a little bit, get a little bit of her period. And Giselle's like, I'm disgusted.
So they're all cracking up, and then Portia says she's so glad they're going to a sanctuary, even if it's with big old elephants. How can you not heal at a sanctuary? Bring back the bond. What are you talking about? You've known each other for one day.
I know.
Where is this bond? What are you talking about?
What needs to be healed with this group? They just have met each other. And then there was a baby elephant in a pen, so I was like, okay, Ronnie's crying right now.
The elephant, that was my note. The elephants are so cute, I can't type. That's what I meant.
It's like Ronnie's absolute favorite. And then Candace like refuses to touch the elephant, and she's like, in all of my days of living, I promise you, I never saw my black ass dying in an elephant park in Thailand. So she basically is like, she understands that the elephants can kill you. So she's like, I'm not gonna touch. I'm not gonna go near. This is not for me.
and they're telling him, don't touch the baby. Do not touch the baby. And Candace is like, yeah, elephants are unpredictable. They seem beautiful, but I don't know these people. And they don't know me. So the elephant blows mud at them. And Candace is like, why is she blowing stuff? And Portia's like, I have a question. So this is a sanctuary? And they say, yes, all the elephants here have been abused. They've been used for riding. And they're domesticated. So they have different personalities. Like, they can't just go back in the wild. You know, they're like dogs. And so they feed them. I mean, I just wrote that all down and said it out loud because that's how much I love an elephant. I'm like, poor elephant, come here. What's up?
It's important for people to know about these elephants, especially actually because in Phuket, there are like several flagrant elephant abuses. Like there's an elephant circus down there, you know, where like it's like this whole thing, this whole big thing. And the elephants do all sorts of crazy stuff. They flap their hands like this. This is my elephant crazy circus.
Yeah, no kidding. You're like, they're in Chicago. It's nuts.
They're doing they're doing kick lines.
Well, I always think it's so funny. There's all these listen, I've watched thousands of elephant videos. I'm crazy like that. But there are these ones where the elephant is some of them the elephant's faking it out. It's like and it like kind of flaps at you like it's gonna stampede you, and then it charges. And then it backs off. It's just warning you, like, keep your damn bus of tourists away from me, right?
Yeah.
But then some of them, the elephant does run and just, like, knocks cars over and stuff like that. And people are like, these fucking elephants, like in the comments on YouTube, people are like, fuck that elephant. I hope they catch it. It's like, well, what do you think? This is what we do to elephants. And now we're wondering why they're pissed off, you know?
I would feel bad though if there was just like one sassy elephant that just loved the circus. Just was like, yes, this is what I was born for. Okay, everyone, you're gonna get a show tonight, and then they get put in the sanctuary. Like, that's like their reprogramming camp, basically.
They're like, we're taking the circus right out of this elephant. It's like, no, bitch, please.
Bitch, I want to balance a ball in my trunk.
I need a little ball to bounce up and down, please.
Bitch, the people need me.
Have you noticed on, by the way, sorry, this is going to be a 10-hour recap. I don't even care. But have you noticed on our Facebook, not our Facebook, our Instagram, our Instamama, I started following a Little Piggy account.
I didn't, but I totally support. I'm getting a lot of Little Piggy content. I'm getting tons of, on my personal, I'm getting tons of otters and piglets and beavers lately, and it's wonderful.
It's weird, right? I guess they've got like better agents now, animals, because they're this Little Piglet account. I mean, it's nonstop.
Where it smiles?
It kept posting up on. Oh, but they're little babies.
Yeah,
and they're just doing the cutest things,
like on a little ball. Did you see the one on the ball?
Finally, they won. No, I saw one running around a bed, and then I saw one cuddling. I saw 3 little baby piglets cuddling with a cat. The cat was
and the cat arranged itself. So that one's a banger.
I mean, and then one with like a newborn, and the piglet's just like licking the baby and sniffing it, and like kind of like not biting it, but like.
Did you see the piglet in the bubble bath?
It is
the piglet in the bubble bath.
I can't. I mean,
that was great. There's one that I saw the other day. It was just, there was like some sort of like big yellow rubber ball, like a big bouncy ball that you play like, you know, outside with. And there is a piglet on it, and the piglet was like running on it. And so the ball was like rolling, and the piglet was like, its little feet were going. And it was like, it looked like a little circus act. It was just coming down the sidewalk. It was perfect.
I mean, I love that content. Okay, so back to this show. So they're feeding the elephants and stuff, and Marisol's like, I'm gonna feed them like Cuban mothers feed their children, because Cubans are the only people who feed their children, by the way. It's another thing that's only part of Cuban culture. And Leah's like, hi, remember me? I'm Leah. I was a pretty good housewife, so wait for it. I'm not really scared of the elephants. I'm scared of these women.
Good one. Giselle really steals the show because what were the noise? She starts making these noises every time she feeds the elephant. She was like, hoo, 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 hoo. What was the noise she was making? I don't remember at this point.
Some crazy ass noise. Like, and Candace is like, that's why she's single. Which
she's like, if you're making these sounds during sex, no man wants to have sex with that. I'm like, well, yes, that's true. But what do you think? What is sex to you? Is it like feeding an elephant? I guess it could be, actually.
So then the elephant sneezes all over them and they're grossed out. It's like getting in their mouth and stuff.
Yeah.
And Whitney's like, oh my God, spank me, elephant. She's like getting spanked with the mud.
The elephant gets fired from the sanctuary.
The elephant is now doing her carpool instead of working. So now it's time to get muddy. So they're all like kind of bathing the elephants in mud because the elephants love the coolness of the mud.
Mm-hmm.
And Alexia's like, oh my God, does anybody clean this water? Like, is this clean water?
Yes. Didn't you see the pool boy coming through?
Portia goes, the Lord.
And by the Lord cleans the water, I would actually say the Lord fills it with all sorts of shit. So, just like, this is not fun for me. I did not travel halfway across the world to come and play with stinky animals.
So then we see Portia throws mud at Giselle's butt.
Yes.
So Giselle's like, oh no, wow, who did this? And then we see this slow down of the footage of Portia doing it. And she's like, oh my God, who did Giselle like that? Who would do that?
Heather's on the sideline being like, I can't believe I get to be around these alphas having this fun time. I mean, I'm like basically one of them now. Which, by the way, is exactly how I woke up after I felt like Jimmy Butler was my friend. So,
So funny.
I get it.
And they're showing clips of Portia playing dumb when Marlo goes, Candy, are you a lesbian? And Portia goes, what? Who said that?
Who said that?
So then they start like a little mud fight because Marisol's like, Portia did it. So then she throws some mud on Marisol. And then Portia's like, why did you tell on me? And then the elephant poops.
And then they're reminded what's in the mud.
Yes.
In that moment.
And Leah's like, ew, he just pooped. He just pooped. And so they run out and there's like horror edits and stuff. And then Marisol's throwing mud at Portia.
And you can hear, by the way, while they're running away from the elephant, you can hear the guide in the background being like, no running, excuse me, no running, please, no running. Like, they're like, please don't elicit a stampede from these elephants, you stupid people.
So this is where our first rumor is derailed. So when they were shooting this, they said Leah left early. She left the trip early because she assaulted someone with elephant poop. That was the original rumor. I don't know if everybody remembers.
That's right.
Good old Sashal Medea was telling us that at the beginning of the season. And that is not, in fact, what happened. So we can X that rumor off the whiteboard.
Wow. Can we even believe anything anymore?
Right?
So Heather's like,
who knew Sashal to be such a goddamn liar?
Goddamn liar. So Heather's like, I am not afraid of large animals, but I am afraid of PETA because they don't have many followers, not compared to Portia, okay? I can't get their low follower stank on me, okay? I don't want to do anything wrong.
So now they have to have lunch smelling like elephant poo near the elephant poo.
I mean, they rinse off, but I'm like, did they get soap too? Because I just feel like I need a deep clean after like playing around in elephant poop before I eat my lunch.
Right. So they're going to open some wine, and Portia's like, who needs a corkscrew? You all are acting like you're brand new. So she takes the bottle and acts like she's going to suck out the cork. And they're like, what? Come on. She's like, yeah, I'll suck it out. And they're just watching her like, there's no way she can do it. And she goes, don't post this. It doesn't go with my brand.
Yeah, and Leah's like, I'm sure she's like a very talented woman, but you cannot suck a cork out of a wine bottle. Like, I don't even think a wine bottle can do that. And then Portia's like, she's like sucking it, and then she like looks at him and goes, y'all some dumb hoes, because it's just a prank.
Yeah, so they all start laughing.
Commercials. Here comes one right now.
And then they bring food, and Marisol's like, oh, very funny, putting the carbs in front of Marisol, all right. So now they're eating and stuff, and Alexia's like, oh my God, if you had to do with that food or sex, what do you choose? And Portia's like, I could do without penetration, honestly.
They're like, oh my God. So then Leah's like, can I say something? I just want to say it's like really refreshing to talk about sex openly. Like normally I try to do that on my show, but I get shut the fuck down, and we see a flashback of Ramona being like, you know what? This conversations get a little crazy in there, okay? Like who talks about this? Just like, it's not me, okay? I don't want to talk about sex. I'm sorry. I'm not going to talk about it, okay?
You know what? This is Audrey Hepburn. Okay, it's Aubrey Hepburn night. She was a very classy lady. That's it. Okay, it's called Breakfast at Tiffany's. Not gonna get ass eaten out at Tiffany's. Okay, nobody wants to know because she was making it sound like people saying, "Wow, what do you like better, food or sex?" Is the same as her being like, "If a guy doesn't eat out your ass, then like, what's the fucking point?"
I know. She's like, I mean, what's the best thing about being a housewife and what's the worst thing, everyone? Okay, talk. So Candace goes, my best, honestly, it's an honor to be the second all-black cast. And the worst thing, social media. I am pummeled on the hour after I say very vicious things to people.
After I call people minimum wage roaches or whatever. And Giselle's like, Candace, you bring this on yourself, Candace. And she goes, no, I don't. They come at me first. And she's like, you need to take responsibility for your trigger fingers, Candace. And she's like, oh, really? For responding to ashy people?
Giselle's like, I don't care if they moisturize. She says, then she tells us, Candace, last night you told us you have accountability for your mouth, but now you want to tell us that you don't know why you get trolled on social media. It's because you bring it on yourself. Troll.
So Heather's like, well, the best part about Housewives, every single thing about it. That's what's the best thing. I mean, my life was absolute shit. I had no hope, no future. I mean, I got a divorce. My husband was just sitting in a hot tub turning prunier by the day, not giving a shit about anything. You know, I mean, like, I was just facing a wall. I was like, I just wanted to make sure I didn't fuck up my kids. But this gave me an opportunity to escape with famous people. Combined. Do you know how many malls of followers you guys have combined? This is amazing.
And to think, I almost didn't throw out that bolero jacket, okay? Because I thought I would have to wear that. And now I don't need a bolero jacket to fit in. I can just be me.
So then Alexia is like, oh, yes, you know, I have a problem with the housewives who say it destroyed me because I destroyed my family. Oh, like we've been doing this a long time. Okay, even though we didn't do it for years, you know, after 8 years, like we made a comeback. And what are the chances after 8 years? So cheers to us. You know what? Forget what I was going to say before. What I'm saying now is cheers to us. We're the best.
Yeah, I just want to take what everyone else has been talking about and just sort of like somehow funnel it into you guys toasting me. Okay? So Heather's telling us, Alexia, I mean, while the resurgence of the Real Housewives of Miami is something to celebrate, nobody's asking questions about you now. Your followers are so low. I mean, you're not an alpha. Okay, you're not a Giselle or a Portia. My future best friends. Come on now.
So now Whitney gets to go. And she's like, my best and worst are the same. The amount of growth is the best, but the amount of growth is also the worst. And personal development is the best, but personal development is the worst. Because I really backed myself into a corner with this one. Can I start over again? Hot dogs. I love hot dogs. They're affordable and delicious.
But they're high sodium and high cholesterol. They're the worst. Hey, I've always been a down ass bitch. Like, my ass points down, and I never thought I'd be picked in anything in life. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to be here on America's Next Top Model. No, Whitney, that's not the show. Oh, where are we anyway?
Whose basement is this? So Portia's like, well, the best part of sisterhood is me. Because let me tell you what I gave to this show. So Portia's best part that she got from it is what she's given all of us by sharing her postpartum depression.
Right. And she said, she let the camera see it, and it was a suicidal moment for her, and she couldn't even turn on the light. And then this was all happening on national television. A producer basically like came to her and said, like, that she sat her down,
here for you.
And yeah, they're basically Portia, like, we're here. Well, we got your back,
and we're here for you. Okay. Yeah. And then of course the producer ruins your life.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Portia, we'll do whatever it takes for you to get out of postpartum depression so that we can start fighting with people again. Okay. So Portia was great. It was a nice story, actually.
It was a nice story, yeah.
And Marisol's like, well, I filmed 2 scenes, and in one of my scenes, my mom showed up, and we were going to Leah's gala, and she walked in, and they were like, who's that? And I was like, it's my mom. So that was my story.
And then we see a clip of Mama Elsa being like, oh, ring. No, Marisol, you can't do this. It's not becoming to you because you don't look rich enough to own this ring. Her mom just dissing her on camera. And Marisol's like, she loves that camera. She loves that camera. If the producer said she can't do something, she would grab their neck and say, Andy told me I could do whatever I want. And they said, I want that lady. And I said, no, because I was very aware of the things that she had done to her beautiful face.
This was, I thought, a really strong Marisol moment because she was saying that she basically was like, I didn't want people making fun of my mother. She was kind of really acknowledging my mom had really fucked up her face, or doctors had fucked up her face, and she didn't want people to make fun of it. And she tells us that, like, you know, like she was gorgeous, you know, in her youth, and we see the photos, and she really was like a knockout because people thought she looked like Sophia Loren. They would stop her on the street, but she had a bad heart, and so when her mom wanted to have plastic surgery, that they couldn't give her the anesthesia, so they would just give her these fillers, and basically she got deformed from the fillers because let's face it, it's probably, you know, I think plastic surgery and fillers have come a long way since probably when her mom was doing them, and so it's kind of like a very sad story of a lady ruining her beauty in pursuit of further beauty, you know.
Yeah, I just remember that from season 1. So I'm like, shut up, Marisol. So then Marisol's like, no, I'm just kidding. It was a nice
I was
story,
like, that was nice.
Remember it from season 1. Yeah, I mean,
it was a nice moment. You know what, it was nice. It was nice because I thought like there was something like very, I don't want to say primal, but like something about her being like, I didn't want people making fun of my mom. It was like, that's an emotion that's like, oh, like I feel that, you know? I mean, not that I sit around being like, I don't want people making fun of my mom, but that's like a thing. It's like, you don't want someone making fun of your mom unless it's yourself, you know?
Yeah, I'm the only one allowed to make fun of my mom. That's true. But then, of course, Mama Elsa came onto the scene and kept Marisol on the show because Marisol was a complete dud. I mean, I don't know if people remember this first 2 seasons, but Marisol literally was dull as a dish rag. She had nothing going on. Her mom was the interesting thing that kept them going. Marisol literally did nothing in the beginning. And then that's why we know this personality is totally manufactured because she came like, okay, you know, I need to be about the, you know, the witchcraft and the drinking and pull some Mama Elsa out. So, but yeah, you know, I miss Mama Elsa.
She was one of the greats.
I loved her. I loved Mama Elsa. Okay, so now Giselle's like, okay, now it's Leah's moment to cry. So Leah's like, all right,
I wrote that too. Leah's moment to cry.
I think that's what she said. So Leah's like, okay, I've been waiting all day, so let me go. Okay, I'll be really honest. Like, a part of me didn't even want to come on this show. And Portia's like, don't start by crying.
Yeah, she's like,
cry once you're into it. Once you're into it, not right away.
I really had hesitation coming here because last season was so hard for me. Like, I lost my grandmother the first week of filming, and I had to go to Ramona's house for 5 days, and no one said, you can leave. Like, no producers, none of my cast members, no one said, Leah, go to your grandmother. Everyone's like, and Portia's like, there's no way in hell anyone's gonna tell me to sit anywhere if my family need me. So I'm like, what? You know,
this reaction was not at all what I expected. I thought they were gonna be like, yeah, you know, production's rough and you still got to go to work even when things are hard. But nobody was like that. They were all like, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
Production would not make you stay there, and you can't be crying about it all these, like, 2 or 3 years later now, and acting like a victim when you're the one who wanted to be on TV instead of go to see your grandma.
Yeah,
I was like, damn.
She's crying because she feels guilty about her own choices, clearly. So Whitney's like...
And Giselle's like, you got to take responsibility for what you do. Never blame a producer. And Whitney's like, actually, we have the same production company, and I know them very well, and there's no way they would have made her stay there.
Yeah, so...
Oh, wait, hold on. I'm sorry. We get this. Okay, go ahead.
So Leah's like, I mean, I was having vertigo. I was having panic attacks. I was like freaking out at everyone. I was screaming at them. And finally I woke up in the morning and I was like, you guys, I gotta leave. And I got in my car and my mom texted me and said, she died. And I was like, on the way to New Jersey, and it like catapulted me into the worst depression I ever had, that I ended up in a hospital. And everyone's like sort of shrugging, like, okay. No. She's like telling sort of a gut-wrenching story. Everyone's like, And then Leah says that basically when it aired, the audiences were like, you should have been with your grandma. You should have been with your grandma. And she just like, it kind of tore her up.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that season being terrible for her because also people were like, you suck,
Yeah.
you know, in general, you know, but that the whole, when she's like, and it was my grandma, and that's why I was being so mean to everyone. I was like, that's every clip of you on this show pretty much is you screaming and being horrible. So
yeah, I mean, I feel bad for her because she obviously, she's living with the guilt of not having left sooner, right? And that's going to haunt her for a long time. And that does suck. That sucks. And then you have people just being like, you suck. Like you should, and like guilting her for not, like when she already feels guilty, that does suck. But at the same time, like, yeah, like don't blame the producers. You probably could have gone very easily. Like we've seen it on all these shows, people leaving early. Ariana just left a Vegas trip earlier because of her dog. So like, you know, I don't know.
Yeah. So she's basically crying and saying, then the audience starts yelling at me and saying I suck because I should have been with my grandma. And so Giselle's like, there, trying to comfort her. But Giselle's so cold, it comes across like that. And so Candace comes and hugs her like from behind or sits next to her.
And like wedges herself in between Giselle and Leah to do it.
And she's like, it's okay. And Giselle goes, oh, well, I guess my hugs weren't good enough.
Leah's like, the days were like not getting better, and like my daughter had to see me like that, and like no one gives you a guidebook on like public shaming, and like, you know, I'm being critiqued on how I'm grieving. Like I remember seeing a comment like Leah's having a bad season. I'm like, this isn't about a season. This is about me losing my grandmother. And you know, they're all like, yeah, but it was a pretty bad season for you though, nevertheless.
Yeah, I mean, look, of course, I just lost my grandmother. Like, I get it, my second grandmother, and I get it. Like, you know, it is very sad. And I guess you shouldn't even compare. I shouldn't have even said that. Like, well, I lost my grandmother. Because you should never compare something like that. But my general note on this whole scene is, like, you were a dick all season. You were a dick the season before. And now you just are crying. You know, it's like you're using you were still a dick, you know? And yeah, if people are saying this isn't how you should grieve, they're saying you shouldn't be fucking attacking people 24/7 and using grieving as your excuse. I think was more the point of all of that. Not that you shouldn't grieve,
right?
You know,
I mean, I really do feel bad for her because that had to have been a heartbreaking moment for her. Like she basically made the wrong choice, you know.
Like, I feel bad for me because I'm really realizing what a sociopath I am because I don't.
That's fine. You don't have to feel bad for everyone. I tend to feel bad for people a lot.
I don't, because I remember the season too much when she tried pulling that. Well, it was my grandmother, and it's like, that's a real thing, but you're still an asshole, you know? And that's my biggest problem on these shows is when you don't own it, baby. It's like you use some excuse that nobody can argue with because it is an actual tragedy and it is like a legit reason to be upset. It's just, man, treating people like that.
Yeah, I'm a very pliable person. So if the producers feed me a moment like this scene is a scene that's meant to make you feel bad for someone, I'm like, I feel bad for them. Like I can't help it. I am always like emotionally manipulated by these shows.
But I'm that elephant who remembers shit and will come back to your village and stomp down the old woman who taunted me. You know? That's me. What can I tell you?
So now Candace is crying, which is hilarious because why is she crying? And then Portia's like, this is a safe space. We are all the way in Thailand. This is a spiritual elephant sanctuary. And whenever you're on a girls' trip and you shed a tear, you have to drink. I'm like, that doesn't work for Leah.
Yeah, I know the one who is really crying. So Candace tries to have her crying moment, but then they don't give it to her. Portia interrupts it, right? So then they leave, and they're getting in vans, and Leah's talking in her van about how she got a weight off her chest finally, and Candace is like, yeah, this is the most intense it's been for me because me and Chris are not in a good place, and my family suffers, my marriage suffers, and our stuff is, listen, my husband has been a workaholic his whole life. I mean, the minute I met him, he said, hey, where would you like to go, my dear love duck quesadilla? I mean, Candace.
Yeah, and they just had the biggest fight of their marriage. And what's funny is that as Candace is like telling this story about how she and Chris are in a tough place, Alexia's just like in the backseat yapping so loudly. You just hear, you don't hear what she's saying. You just hear, and Candace's like, and I am in like a tough place right now. And things are just so hard right now.
Oh my gosh. So she's talking about how, when COVID hit, he owned a restaurant and it closed. I thought he just managed it, but what do I know? I do remember this. They don't have napkins there. Okay, I remember this about that restaurant. And for the first time in his life, he wasn't working, so he got an opportunity finally to go back to a restaurant. And that was like the worst thing in their entire world for their marriage. And so they had the biggest fight of their marriage. Now, she doesn't say that he's not working at that restaurant anymore, right? Did she say that in Potomac?
Well, I know at some point on Potomac, we learned that he was no longer working at the rooftop of the W or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. But she's like, either I'm working and he's off, or he's working and I'm off. And I was like, she's like, we haven't seen each other in 2 months. It's like, I feel like that's an exaggeration. You guys probably see each other and you're just trying to kind of like compile some sort of evidence for why you should be crying right now. But this is a case where I was not buying it.
So she's talking about how she's away from home and she misses him. And, now she's stuck so far away with all these women yelling at each other. And it's a lot. I'm like, how much are you getting paid literally for going away for 8 days?
Yeah.
Ma'am? Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So she's crying, now she's having her moment to be like, ah! So she does. And in the other van, it's Whitney, Portia, Marisol, and Giselle. And Whitney's like, wow, isn't that crazy? Like, some people can look at a man and get pregnant, and some people have the biggest problems with it. And Portia's talking about how she had fertility issues, and Marisol's like, well, I wanted kids, but it just wasn't going to happen for me, which is really sad because she had a birth defect and couldn't give birth. And so now she just learns how to be happy in the moment, which I would buy if her storyline didn't revolve around, Grey Goose.
Yeah, but I always say, for those who can't have kids, at least they can have brunch,
Yeah, that's the gay way, baby.
That's the gay way. At least you can do things like, hey, I want to go to brunch today. None of my friends who have kids, it's like you say, do you want to get brunch today? Well, there's like a million things.
They're like, will you come clean up the vomit off of my shirt and comb my hair first? That would be great.
Can you come to soccer / like pottery / like it's like pottery t-ball or something.
Right. So, you may not be able to have children, but you can have an expendable income. Okay, you can have the extra nice couch from the CBT.
Yes, you can have clean floors. So I'm just saying, there's upsides to both things. So don't feel down. Oh. So Candace, like, today, this has been the best day of the trip for me so far. I'm like, it's day 2. Like, it's either the worst day or the best day. There's no other options.
Yeah. And she's like, I've been having anxiety, no sleep. I've been dying. And Leah's like, I had no idea this was going on with you. And she's like, yeah, I don't want anyone to know. I was like, yes, you do. You just tried to have this crying scene at brunch, but Giselle cut you off. And she's like, but this one is a great day. And Leah's like, well, I'm glad you're feeling better. Oh my God, did you almost grab my boob? That was insane. So these two are fast friends. Never saw that coming.
Did not see that coming yet. It makes total sense. So now they're back at the villa and Pepsi's making them cocktails. And he's like, oh, welcome back home. And Portia's like, how do we smell, Pepsi? He's like a zoo. So they now they have to get ready for dinner. So they have to get ready for dinner by 6. And Candace says, if you have a grill, wear it in your mouth tonight, which is like fine. But I'm like, I thought the vibe was like, she had said it was a quote unquote drag show, even a ladyboy show. She said drag show, but it's a ladyboy show. And I didn't understand what the grill had to do with it. But she says, if you have a grill. So,
well, neither does Whitney, because she's outside trying to put a fucking grill in her mouth.
I know. She's
the most I've ever gotten in here before is a fist. Ow! Pepsi!
Whitney is bad news with grills. I mean, that was what preceded the big, bad weather fight. She was grilling.
Oh, that's true. So Portia, okay, so then we get the best part. Portia goes up to Pepsi. She's like, Pepsi, could you get me some KFC, please? And he's like, yeah, well, what is it? Kentucky Fried Chicken. He's like, all right, I'll do anything for you, my lady. She's like, just find it on the island. You got me?
Pepsi, there's a bug in my room. Pepsi, I want coleslaw and mashed potatoes and gravy and Kentucky Fried Chicken original. Pepsi, bug, Pepsi.
And Candace is like, we want breasts. So Pepsi goes to take care of the bug. I mean, this poor guy, he's so beleaguered, you know. So then Whitney is getting her hair sewn by Heather, and they have their conversation. Right.
Yeah.
So Whitney's like, so Heather's like, tell me, it must have hurt trying to put that grill in your mouth. You know it's slang, right? She's like, well, we're here with other people and this has been amazing. And Heather's like, I'm just trying to figure out who I am in your life because it's shifted. And you literally said to me, I'm gonna worry about like you and not me, and I'm not gonna be a part of bad weather anymore. So you like totally quit me.
Heather, I'm never going to stop loving you, ever. Yeah, but do you regret breaking up with me? She's like, I never broke up with you, Heather. Yeah, but a friendship breakup, it's a breakup. That's just a break, okay? Ow. Sorry. This Foreman grill is really hurting my teeth.
So Heather, basically Whitney's like, you can't break up with a friend. That's just petty. And Heather is saying, well, Whitney believes bad weather is bringing her down. And without my dead weight, her shooting star can go farther. The more you know. And Whitney's like, she's just butthurt. I stopped inviting her to all the cool stuff I do because I needed space from her. Yeah, Whitney, that's called dumping your friend. Okay? If you go from inviting somewhere everywhere to not inviting them anywhere and they see on Instagram you're doing these things without them, that's dumping a friend, Whitney. Okay?
Well, she's dumb because a lot of people would kill to be part of bad weather, okay? Like, you know what? If like, I don't know, like Frank Catania could be part of like, then Frank and Heather, we're feather, bad feather. I mean, the possibilities are endless.
Yeah. She's like, you said I'm on a friendship break from Heather. I would have been friends with Lisa from day one if it weren't for Heather. So I guess I'll be friends with Lisa now. I mean, that was the shift. And I think it's so funny. Their fight boils down to, we were always against Lisa together no matter what.
Yeah.
And now we're not both against Lisa no matter what. Even though Lisa's tried to be like, Heather, we could be friends. Why don't we start over? And Heather's like, yeah. Like if she's desperate for someone to shoot with, she'll talk to Lisa. But then she goes right back down to ripping Lisa down.
Yeah. Whitney's like, I hear your side of it and I wrote for you. And you and Lisa didn't like each other. So I didn't like Lisa. And Heather's like, but Lisa was horrible to you, independent of me. Horrible. 1,000%. But I rode for you on a lawnmower, a riding lawnmower. I made figure eights in your grass and you never said thank you.
You know what? Heather has become a shell of a person and she only cares what the world thinks of her. And I think the fame and opportunity has gone to her head. And Heather's like, well, what's it gonna take for us to love each other again? Sorry, that was live. Okay, let me press stop.
Hold on, let me just check. Portia Williams still not following me back, but I think maybe tomorrow we'll make a big inroads there. So Heather's like, do not sacrifice our relationship for the show. It's not worth it, okay? And Whitney's like, but we are trying. I want to fix my relationship with you. It's not a sacrifice for the show. And Heather's like, well, what was the last 6 months then? Tell me that.
Yeah. I don't know about this, but they decide they'll just kind of let it go and they'll give 50-50 because that's what relationships are. And then they seal it with a kiss. Okay. But these are Salt Lake City people. So we know this is going to last about 3 minutes because that show can burn through plot like no other. Right.
Yeah.
So then Pepsi shows up. He's like, she's going to love it. Chicken in Thailand. Kentucky Fried Chicken. I've done it. It's like, wow.
He did find it. And I was like, okay, this is like some producer bullshit. Like they clearly, they brought a KFC bucket from America. They got some fried chicken and put it in there for this bit. But then I looked it up because I do this. And there are actually several KFCs in Phuket. So there you go. It
found it.
It could have been very well authentic KFC. So
Portia just sits in bed. I mean, this is why Portia is a national treasure, okay? Because she gets her KFC and then just spreads it all over her bed and just sits in bed like a queen, eating coleslaw, mashed potatoes, fried chicken. Love it.
it's bold. So Marisol has a stomach ache still, and her earring broke. Oh my God, the indignities just keep on coming. Am I right?
Candace is in her room playing her own song, singing to it and dancing around, putting on her makeup. So now they all load back in the van, and Leah's guzzling a Red Bull. And Pepsi's like, "You're going to have the perfect tonight, ladies, all right?" And they're like, "Okay, Pepsi." So Giselle, Portia, Heather, and Alexia are in one van.
And Heather's like, "So Giselle, who's in the hot seat tonight? This is great. Pal, let me know if I can help, pal. Best friends, am I right? Three amigos. Sort of the three amigos, right, guys? Alpha amigos, three alpha amigos. Is that, can we call it that? You know what I'm saying, guys?
Who are you throwing on the grill tonight, Giselle? Hilarious. High fives, tingles. Let's make a secret handshake.
Now, I have a question. Are grills sort of like Mormon underwear for your teeth? I'm sort of confused about this.
So Portia's like, "It's Candace's night. What's her thing? Games?" And Lexi's like, "Well, I think the whole thing is going to be surprising to us because we're going to see ladyboys. I've never, ever seen this. What is this?" So in the other van, Leah's showing Marisol some pictures of dudes she's dating online. And she's like, "So, do we think he's cute? Because, like, it's a guy I'm talking to on this dating app. And, like, he's 6'4", and he has a big dick to match his height." They surprise you, right?
Yeah. And then they basically, is this where she talks about micro penises, or is that later at dinner?
No, Whitney goes, "I want to see his face." And Leah goes, "What? Does he have a big dick face? What do you think?" Dicks, right? Isn't that like crazy? Like big dicks. Yeah. Is anybody like shocked?
I just hope he makes pitas. So then they go to a place called Kep Club, and they show up, and Marisol's like, "Oh, a bar. Hello. By the way, in case everyone missed my log line, I'm the one that likes to drink. Okay, future housewife, gonna graduate back up to housewife soon."
Back home, we called this NICU. Outdoor venue. It's an outdoor venue, and Leah needs a cigarette. They order. Blah, blah. I love that Leah's like, "Can I have a Red Bull and a cigarette?" I didn't know you could order a cigarette.
Oh, yeah.
But I like it.
That is funny, a cigarette. So Marisol's like, "Oh, my stomach hurts. I need a cocktail. You know, that's what every good stomach ache needs, alcohol." So Candace is like, "So in keeping with the spirit of having a ladyboy night, I thought it would be wonderful if we all got our own ladyboy names." I'm like, I don't know if that's a thing, ladyboy names, but sure. So
because she still thinks it's a drag show. I mean, you would think that somebody would have told her, well, this is not a drag show.
I mean, I can't. I almost feel like, can we even speak authoritatively about that? Because when I was in Thailand, I definitely saw a drag show by a ladyboy. So I think that there's like, I can't tell where the spectrum begins and ends, but I do get the sense that ladyboy is different than ladyboy. It even says ladyboy is like a gender, drag is a performance. So I don't even know. But either way, I don't think
I don't need to worry too much about it because, like, I'm not Googling it. You know what I mean? I'm just going to stay in this place of ignorance for now.
Yeah.
So they're going to give out drag names, basically. And so Candace is like, "I'll go first. My name is Petty the Belle." And Alexi's like, "Oh, wait a minute. Petty or Patty? Because I know a Patty LaBelle. I don't know a Petty LaBelle. Who's Petty? Is this a name? Is this an American name? Is this like a da-da-da?"
I like Alexia not understanding the idea of drag names. Oh, I think you mean Patty LaBelle. Okay, your drag name is Patty LaBelle. Giselle's like,
"We're talking about a drag, Adriana then? Is her name Adriana? That's a drag."
So, Giselle's like, "I would have called her Crybaby Candace or Mama Drama Candace or Garbage Can Mouth Candace." I'm like, not a lot of wordplay there, but I respect the sentiment.
But I like that it's just so rude. It's like garbage mouth. That's what I'd call her. And she says, "But petty, not for you." So Giselle's like, "So have you even been petty since we've been here, Candace?" She goes, "I'm about to be." So then Giselle is next. And she explains to the lady. She's like, "In our group, Karen says Giselle needs a man. And then we see, oh, really? Is that what's going on with your firebox? Your box full of fire? Your fiery box?
Yeah, so her drag name is Shanita Man. Oh, well, do you mean like Anita? Or like, are you saying Shania Twain? I think you got it wrong, Candace. I don't get it.
And then Candace is like, she could have been Rude Paul, Anita Stylist, Dummy Moore.
Arthritis.
Arthritis.
Those are all pretty good, I have to say. I think Candace understands. Giselle's like, well, this isn't even good shade, because you don't know what kind of men's I have. I might not be in a relationship, and that's by choice, because I do like to dabble here and there and everywhere. Like, no, it was good shade. It was good shade, Giselle.
I thought so. Yeah, this was good. So Candace then moves on to Alexia, and she's like, you've got gorgeous hair. You've got this gorgeous face. You're a blonde. So you are Havana White, which is, she's only going to be shady to the ones she doesn't like, obviously.
Right.
But of course, Alexia's like, Savannah? Who's Savannah? Who's Savannah? Is this the lady from the news in the morning? Because I don't like to watch the news in the morning. I'll tell you that much.
Candace, you messed it up. My name should be Vanna White. No. Havana White. No, because Havana's a city in Cuba, and Vanna White is the person, so I should be Vanna White. Marisol's is, we're starting to see a big drop off in creativity. Marisol just gets Crystal Ball, which is a little like just kind of like an afterthought,
I don't think they brought very many gays to Thailand. I think like the gay stylists and stuff who usually help them like couldn't get in or something. Right. So yeah, she gets Crystal Ball, and Giselle's like, I don't hear petty. She goes, I'm sprinkling it in, Giselle. So Heather and Whitney, you're the bad weather cousins. We have Snow right now. So now we'll have Snow right and Snow wrong. How about that? Isn't that good? Now Leah's converting to Judaism. Okay, so you're going to be Judaism.
That wasn't real. It was really like, it was, it's like, okay, Candace, you started off strong. You're starting to lose the thread here. Also, what's funny about Snow Right and Snow Wrong is that Whitney's drag name only makes sense if she's around Heather. Like, Heather could be her own. She's just Snow Right. Like, she can be her own drag name. But Whitney's in a vacuum. If Whitney walks into a place and goes, my drag name is Snow Wrong, people will be like, what? Why are you Snow Wrong? Oh, because there's another person whose drag name is Snow Right. So if I'm around them,
Whitney, isn't it?
I'm around them, it makes sense.
The reason they call me Snow Wrong is because there's this character from Disney called Snow White, and then white rhymes with right, but then the opposite of right is wrong.
It's verging on like Cockney rhyming slang, where like you rhyme one word with another and then remove that word and go to another association.
Yeah, that's a lot for me. So then we get to Portia. So she's like, so the rumor was, Portia, that you got your man in a sketchy way, and the people would say that you stole the man. So you are Shanita Man. No, your sister is Shanita Man, and you are She Take a Man.
Yeah.
And they're like, ha ha
ha ha ha ha ha. And Portia's like, yeah, but like, can you take a man if he's already free? So, which, by the way, I feel like Portia was really annoyed. She really did not like this at all. So Candace is like, that was the rumor. That was the rumor, man. So Portia's like, I'm very underwhelmed. I mean, first of all, like, I'm like bored, and like, then you're gonna like come out here with these like dollar store fans and dollar store shade. Like, it's very much pressed.
And Marisol's like, where's the ladies' room, all right? And so they start kind of moving around a little bit. The game's over. And Whitney's like, thanks for our names. And Portia's like, I'm not thanking her for my name. Stupid name. So Giselle's like, yeah, the petty was not equally distributed.
Yeah. Portia's like, she put zero thought into the other names and all the energy into ours. And Giselle's like, I mean, what was mine again? Shanita Man. And Portia's like, and I'm Shatuka Man. Giselle's like, well, you might have.
Just, no, I didn't. And they start cracking up. So Portia's like, well, mine was based on a rumor. And Candace says, well, so is Giselle's. And so, this is where the micro penises come in. Because Giselle says, I wouldn't just meet a random dude in the street. That's not like me. And Leah goes, yeah, stranger danger is so real. Like, I mean, you get to know a person, and like I'm scared of micro penises because like that's why you have to see it right away. Because like, what if you get to know a person and then they have a micro deck? Like, what are you gonna do with that?
And then Giselle goes, "That can't be your fear in dating." And Leah's like, "It is. I mean, like, but then like, why am I wasting my time dating you? Like, I think I'm like on a dating app, and I think on the dating app, the guy should have to say his penis size. Like, it's not fair to." And Heather's like, "I have never seen a micro penis out in the world, but I am a penis ableist, and I think a micro can contribute in some way. And I don't want to date one of the 7 dwarves, but like I don't want to shame them either. Am I right, Giselle and Portia? Am I right? You guys hear this? I'm doing some good content. Good content here, guys."
Could you make this? I'm gonna make it a tweet. Will you retweet it? Because followers overflow.
I don't want micro followers. I want maxi followers.
And everyone's like, "That's ridiculous." And Leah just keeps going, "No, micro penises, right, guys? Like micro penises." And they're just like, "Shut up," And so I think this is so funny because Leah's MO has always been like triggering the older generation.
Always.
She's like a girl with mommy issues who is just trying to trigger Ramona, right?
Yes.
Which worked. It worked every single time. And then it would lead to these big fights where she could be like, "Fuck you, mom." So she's trying that with this cast. And this cast is just like, "You're a fucking idiot." No one's mad. They're just like, "Shut up, you child."
No one's disgusted. They're just calling her on her shit, which is amazing, which is what episode 3 is all about. So now they go to the table and they're gonna order food and stuff. And Whitney's asking Portia if the KFC came, and Portia's like, "Yeah." And she goes, "You didn't tell me, huh?" So Candace goes, I have a question. My marriage has always been solid, and right now we're going through a patch of roughness because we haven't been able to see each other for about 3 days. So Chris took a job where he always worked, and it's been a stressful time, and the show exacerbates it. Do you all feel like the show has negatively affected your relationships or your marriage just the way mine has so dramatically? Like, she keeps on really trying to like drive this thing of like, we are in peril right now.
I know. She's really doing this whole, guys, the plight of a restaurant manager. Like nobody cares. So Giselle's like, "Well, yeah, I mean, public scrutiny kills it. It's bad for every relationship. I mean, your husband can't even cheat on you anymore without being called out on social media. I mean, I was dating a perfectly nice person and everybody gave him shit for getting blowjobs in a park. I mean, how are you supposed to date?"
She's like, "Yes, it's so hard having a relationship in the public eye. Your husband can't even go into a hotel room to have a conversation with someone without that person accusing them of being sexually awkward or offensive or whatever."
And Candace is like, "Well, Portia, what are you going to say? Why don't you take it? Why don't you answer?" And Portia's like, "No, why don't you say it then? Because you came out with the rumors and blogs and all this other stuff." So Candace is like, "Well, what I knew is that his ex-wife, you met on camera, and then you knew her, and then you became friends, and then you ended up with her husband 2 minutes later. And the streets say you stole somebody's man." And then we see tweets that are like, "Damn, Portia stole Phelan's husband, her pool, and apparently her wedding ring."
Yeah,
which is true. But didn't we learn later that Phelan got pregnant by the pool boy or something?
Yeah, and I think that's actually even addressed here. But I still feel like
we learned it literally.
we learn it literally in about 3 lines. But I still contend that there's some shadiness going on because the timing of that announcement, the day after the reunion aired, I was like, I'm sorry, something is weird. And then the fact that she then left the show, didn't want to talk about it on the show, I was like, So Portia's like, "Well, what actually happened is I'm on a show and they say they're bringing in a new wife. And then I met her husband and I didn't really pay any attention to him at the time because he's just like a weird old guy. And then I knew him already and stuff. And so like fast forward, it didn't work out for her and she left."
So, okay. So I don't understand this. So supposedly Simon was friends with her ex-husband, the hot dog entrepreneur guy, Dennis. And that's how she had met him before, but didn't recognize him, which I don't believe. So then basically, I don't know when it is. Okay, so Giselle's like, I'll help. Phelan allegedly cheated on Simon, then got pregnant. So Simon was done with the marriage anyway because his wife got knocked up by the pool boy, allegedly. And then Portia says, yeah, and then after that, she announced they were getting divorced. So I hit him up in the DM saying, heard about your divorce. Hope you're doing good. And he hit back and was like, let's get married.
Yeah.
So she did come after, like, right in a vulnerable time.
Yeah.
But it's not as bad as I thought.
It's not as bad, but there still is some. I don't know. I think there's a missing piece here.
There's a missing link. You think?
There's some. I don't know. I think that's
sure
it's a little odd.
But...
Like she DMs him to be like, sorry, like praying for you guys. Did she have a bad? I thought she was friends with Fallon first. Like it feels like a little bit of a girl Cody infraction there.
I don't think she knew Fallon before they met. I mean, she was brought on as supposedly knowing Fallon.
Yeah.
But I don't think that that's real.
I don't know.
I mean,
I
I don't know.
But
You know I'm an apologist if I like somebody. So I'm like, she did nothing wrong. And Fallon is the one who got pregnant by the pool boy. So.
And Fallon, and I feel bad for Fallon because really my dominant image of Fallon is her like in scales at that Halloween party, like, which is that crazy costume where her body was scaly. She was like a swamp monster or something. She had like the yellow eyes. She comes running out with a golf club. Like that's just all I think about with Fallon.
Yeah. So then Portia gives her story, right? And she's like, well, he said, hit me up. And then when he was in Atlanta, we got together. And I said, well, before we even go on a date, I want you to email me the divorce papers. So
Alexia's like, well, you know.
This is where it gets bullshit.
Did you scroll down? When he sent them, did you scroll down? Because you know what? That's a big factor. You learn a lot when you scroll down.
And Leah's like, oh, so you were being very thorough then. I mean, that sounds very thorough. And she goes, yeah, I had to be. I'm a public figure. And I don't want to represent that. And she signed it, and it was a done deal, but it wasn't finalized because it was just sitting on a judge's desk. So technically, they were still married, but not really.
And they got engaged in under a month. And, and Portia had a hard time with how the public took it and how her fans were so disappointed. She's like, but if you move with a good heart and just stand on the truth will always trump a rumor. So.
You know what will stand the truth of time? Truth. All you have to do is look at the history books.
So Heather's like, I mean, listen, I'm all about taking a man. I was like, oh, God. Heather,
she's trying so hard to
Christ.
impress Giselle and Portia. She's trying so hard to be like down. She keeps on saying the most ridiculous thing. I'm all about taking a man. I mean, if you can find a man who likes you more than whoever's you're with, I'll take the man. I will leave. I don't. Portia,
no, she's
high
saying
five,
whoever
Portia.
he's with. She's like, if you find a man and he likes you better than his girlfriend, then take him. Why not?
Yeah. Either way, but she's still trying to be like, Portia, am I right? Sisters forever. You're bad Pether. Does that work? Poor Pether. Bad Pether. We can work on our couple name. Come on, high five.
Pad Bether. I don't even know where the B came from. That's how much I like you.
Portia. That works, right? Portia.
You're going to keep going.
It's Heather and Portia.
So Whitney's like,
I'm not proud of it, but I've taken a man, so I win. Wait a minute, does that make me sound proud of it? Can we do that again?
And Marisol's like, I mean, I'm looking at Portia's ring. That's a good ring. I'd take that man.
She took a good man.
So Alexia's like, okay, well, this is a woman's show, and like a lot of men are embarrassed, and like he's in like business and real estate, and is like, I don't need this show. That's Todd. I'm talking about Todd right now. Like he's like he like doesn't need this show. Okay, that's why he only shows up most episodes and then starts yelling at other people, and like, I will walk away if necessary. Okay, this is like my third marriage, and like I'm just like not so interested in fame and my brand. Like if he says I should walk away, like I will walk away for Todd. I will do that.
Yeah, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You've been married 3 times. You should know by now. Those are temporary. Housewives is forever. Okay, they'll be replaying. Right. They'll replay on Saturdays for the rest of your life. Okay, Fuck Todd. Keep Housewives, ma'am.
Yeah.
So Giselle's like, and also Alexia, I've heard all this stuff, like a gay husband. There was a gay husband, right?
Is there a gay husband?
And she's like, oh yes, my ex-husband. And now when he passed away, I found out he was in a relationship with a man. They even asked me to do gay pride.
This story is so good, guys. You have to hear it. You have to hear it. Come on. Say it, Alexia. Say it.
So yeah, my ex-husband, when he passed away, I found out he was in a relationship with a man, and Leah's just fanning herself. She goes, this music's great.
She goes, oh yeah, I know this story already. It's a little bit of a snooze fest. Snooze fest? This is the greatest story that ever happened on Housewives. What are you talking about? Illicit gay sex, love affair, an escort, all this stuff. We've been dealing with this story for 10 years, and I'm still loving it every single time.
So Alexia tells the story again, but Leah's already heard it in the car, right? So Alexia's like, well, we were separated a year and we never divorced legally because he was bisexual. And I know that because he married me, but obviously we were together, so he wanted me.
Oh, I'm just bored. I've like heard it all. I heard it all earlier. I'm just like bored. Can you talk about like something more interesting? Like the time, like, I don't know, like you miss your grandma's funeral or something like that? So bored.
Yeah, and they pause on Leah's face being bored and put a thought bubble, and then you see Alexia saying the same story before. And Leah's like, well, I think like Alexia has a loop. Oh, really, Leah? Tell us about your grandmother again. Let's talk about fucking loops. Okay, please do.
Yeah. So Leah's like, guys, like, it's like, why don't you guys like order like shots or something? Can you guys get like drunk or something? Can you do something fun? Lexia's like, oh well, we had to get together, myself and the attorneys and like the accountants and the bookkeepers, and they were like, are you ready for this part?
God, I'm so bored right now. This is like the most boring thing that's ever fucking happened to me. I'm like so bored.
Leah, this is like an amazing story. It's like the Spielberg show of the 80s. Amazing stories starring Alexia. Go on, Alexia.
And Marisol tells us, ay, Dios mío, the story of Alexia and Hernan's life is boring. What fascinates her? Being afraid of tiny penises. That's it. That's what Leah's about.
Heather's like, this is the most riveting story of her lifetime. Okay, this is something that brings together alphas and betas as one big alphabet soup of personalities.
Alphabet soup? And Leah's like, sorry, bored. And Alexia says, oh, you want to go back to your story of talking about your micro penises? We could do that. We could do that. What's a micro penis? Anybody want to talk about micro penises?
I don't. Just like we already talked about that, Mom.
Yeah, she's like, I didn't mean to disrespect you. And she goes, well, you did say Alexia's story is boring. And she goes, I didn't say it was boring. And she goes, you said it was a snooze fest. You said you're bored. And she goes, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't try to make me get in a fight.
Don't try and make me get in a fight with her. And it rewinds to Leah 2 seconds ago, being like, this is a snooze fest. I'm fucking bored. I'd rather lose both of my eyes right now in a traffic accident than listen to this. This is like the worst.
Marisol's like, are you kidding me, Leah? You just said that. Marisol, like, you're in a bad mood because your stomach hurts. Don't take it out on me. It's not my fault you're drinking vodka every morning.
Dun, dun, dun.
In loving memory.
And Marisol's face is like, oh, how dare someone suggest I'm drinking too much.
And then it's like, in loving memory of Mama Elsa Patton, 2019. So I was like, okay. But that actually was nice because I don't think that they ever had a chance to give it in loving memory of Mama Elsa, probably, because the show was off the air.
Yeah, so, God bless Mama Elsa. We love you.
God bless. Well, that was episode 2, and we'll be back with episode 3 on the next episode. So thanks, everyone, for being here, for listening, and for watching. Hi. And we'll catch you on the next one, and we'll see everyone in Seattle and San Francisco. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Watch What Crappens would like to thank its premium sponsors. Ain't no thing like Allison King.
Ashley Savoni, she don't take no baloney.
She's not just a Sheila, she's a Daniela. Itchels. Dana C. Dana Do. Aaron McNicholas, she don't miss no trickolas.
Hava Nagila Weber.
Jamie, she has no last namey.
Sipped some scotch with Jessica Trotch.
Kristen the Piston Anderson.
Can't stop fanning over Tina Manning.
She's always supplying, it's Kelly Ryan.
Megan Berg, you can't have a burger without the Berg.
You're never alone with Lacey Monteleone.
Let's give a kisserino to Lisa Lino.
There ain't no problem that Sarah Salvia can't solve ya.
Christy Wowardy Dowardy.
the Bay Area Betches. Betches.
And our super premium sponsors, the incredible edible Matthews sisters.
Somebody get us 10 cc's of Betsy MD.
She's not harsh. She's Jill Hirsch.
We're taking the gold with Brenda Silva. Erica, 500 Days of Summers.
She's the queen bee. It's Sarah Lemke.
Undo your fasteners. It's Aaron Kastner.
We love him madly. It's Kyle Pod Shadley.
Don't get salty with Christine Pepper. Let's go on a bender with Lauren Fender.
My favorite Murdo, Karen McMurdo.
Nobody holds a candle to Jamie Kendall.
Give him hell, Miss Noel.
Can't have a meal without the Emily Sides.
Let's get real with Caitlin O'Neill. Make it Lastner with Aaron Kastner.
We want to hang with Liz Lang. Can't have a meal without the Emily Sides.
Shannon, out of a cannon, Anthony. Let's take off with Tamla Plain.
She ain't no shrinking Violet Kuchar. We love you guys.
Hey Prime members, you can listen to Watch Our Crappens ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the Amazon Music app today. Or you can listen ad-free with Wondery Plus in Apple Podcasts. Before you go, tell us about yourself by completing a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.